पैलेस्टाइन में हमारे साथ अभी जुड़ेंगे हतीम अल सक्का. He is a community activist focused on disability issues. A disabled person, owing to being a deaf, he's a deaf person, of short stature actually. He's currently working with an international organization on nutrition programs in Palestine, and also in various other issues also he's taking up. हतीम, as I said earlier, मैं शुरुआत में जैसे कहा था, कोशिश करेंगे इस 2 घंटे के दरमियान कि पैलेस्टीन की हालत वहाँ की लोगों के मुंह से सुने, ताकि हम ना बोले, वहाँ के लोगों से सुने. हतीम, if you join us, please try to speak on what is the situation currently in Palestine as far as disabled people are concerned. What are the, after once a genocide, even I know even before disabled person had a very bad situation there. Various issues were there. The continuous attacks that were taking place by Israel over the number of years actually had created a lot of disabled persons also. In this situation, in the situation of genocide, what is the situation, what is the problems that disabled people are facing? Could you please let us?
I am a community activist focused on disability rights, and currently I work with an international organization that addresses community and health issues. On the morning of 5 of October 2023, I was sitting with a group of disability activists, finalizing a free community. These initiatives aimed at enhancing accessibility and the protection for persons with disability in society. The first initiative advocated for use of sign language in emergency department of hospital and in the government media center to use sign language. The second initiative promote the inclusion of Paralympic sport in local clubs. And the third is aimed to introduce pride in public market to make information accessible for people with visual disability. However, just 2 days later, 7 of October 2023, everything changed. Our focus on empowerment and inclusion suddenly shifted to survival. The genocide transformed our work from strengths community participation to simply ensuring that persons with disability could stay alive and access their most basic needs. Persons with disability have been among most directly impacted. We have been targeted and killed alongside the destruction of the infrastructure that the institution that served us. We have been cut off from essential services as the destruction of infrastructure has made movement nearly impossible. Many of us have been forced into displacement sites that are completely not accessible and lack basic conditions for survival, stripping us of independence we once had as leaders in our community. Families have faced impossible choices in the sudden evacuation, intense heavy bombing and attacks. Some families had no option but to leave behind relatives with severe physical or intellectual disability because they could not move them or find accessible shelters. For families who did manage to flee with their relative, the situation offered no relief. They arrived at displacement site only to find no ramps, no bathrooms, no private space, no adequate medical care, and no support services. Conditions that turned supposed places of protection into new source of exclusion and danger. Individuals with hearing disability were often at even greater risk due to lack of warning or alert providing in sign language. People with physical, visual, intellectual impairments have been left isolated in overcrowded, unsafe shelters. Accessing food and water distribution has been nearly impossible due to the lack of accessible arrangement and overwhelming crowded. The scale of disability has also increased dramatically. Nearly 30,000 people now require physiotherapy and rehabilitation services, which are almost entirely unavailable due the destruction of rehabilitation center, the last of which included major provider, which is Palestinian Medical Relief and Al Wafa Hospital, both which were fully destroyed now. More than 3,000 people have advocate visual impairments from direct injured eye trauma or malnutrition. Over 35,000 people have developed partial or full hearing loss due to the contents, heavy bombing, and deafening explosion. We must also recognize the urgent and growing crisis of psychosocial and psychological disability. People with the pre-existing mental health condition have been stripped of medication, care, and safe spaces. Many have deteriorated rapidly without support, and at the same time, the continuous trauma, loss, and fear have produced now widespread mental health condition. Thousands now live with severe depression and other psychosocial disorder. Children, caregiver, and individual across all disability groups are affected. Mental health and psychosocial support services have been determined or not accessible, living and often invisible population in acute need. This genocide has also this genocide has not only resulted in the death of persons with disability through direct attack, but also systematically erased every safeguard of international law meant to protect our right to live independency and with dignity. It has pushed back by centuries, reduced us to dependency and exclusion, silence our voices, and erase our roles in society. This is only part of the story. For those we see, individual with intellectual disability face an even harsher reality. Many do not fully comprehend what is happening around them, leaving families overwhelmed. In a moment of forced evacuation, some parents have described the, the unbearable challenge of being forced by imminent danger to make a choice, the impossible choice to leave their children behind because they could not move them or find accessible shelter. This is perhaps the most painful testament to how genocide robs us not only of life but also our shared humanity. Today in Gaza, we can no longer speak of the right of person with disability. Rights meaning nothing when survivor is denied. As the saying goes, you cannot give what you don't have. And how we can discuss human rights in a place where humanity itself is being crushed every day. I want to close with the reflection. The global motto for disability inclusion has leave no one behind, but in Gaza, since 7th of October, for persons with disability, the reality is the opposite. We have already been left behind. Finally, I want to ask you to take an action in your life. Join the global BDS movement for boycotts, device or sanction to end this genocide, or at least do what you can to support sponsorship, scholarship, and partnership. Any routes possible to help Gazians with disability survive this genocide. Thank you.
हेलो। हाँ, हैथम साहब सीधे गाजा से ही ज्वाइन किया है ऑनलाइन। उन्होंने बताया कि किस तरह से जो डिसेबल्ड लोग हैं उनके राइट्स का, उनके हकों का पूरी तरह से हनन हो रहा है, और जो पहले भी इसराइल करता था, लेकिन अभी जिस तरह की जो जेनोसाइड चल रही है उसमें वो किस लेवल पे कितना बढ़ गया है। और उन्होंने हाँ, उन्होंने वहीं से शुरुआत की कि पैलेस्टाइन की जो सरकार है, वो कुछ समय से कोशिश कर रही थी कि जो लोग डिसेबिलिटीज के साथ रहते हैं, उनके हकों पे काम किया जाए। चाहे फिर वो पैरालंपिक्स में के लिए टीम को तैयार करने की बात हो, या स्पोर्ट्स भी हैं, या बाकी किस तरह से भी जो एक्सेसिबिलिटी जिस तरह से बढ़ाई जानी चाहिए, उस पे कुछ-कुछ काम चल रहा था। लेकिन जब से अक्टूबर 2023 में सारा नरसंहार शुरू हुआ, उसके बाद से वो सब चीजें पूरी तरह से रुक गई, क्योंकि वहां पे सरकार को अपने तरह से काम करने का मौका ही नहीं मिल रहा है। आज की तारीख में 30,000 लोग हैं गाजा में, 30,000 जिनको फिजियोथेरेपी की जरूरत है, जो किसी ना किसी तरह की डिसेबिलिटी से गुजर रहे हैं और उनको फिजियोथेरेपी चाहिए। लेकिन क्योंकि इसराइल ने सारे अस्पताल ही उड़ा दिए हैं और उन पे बम गिरा दिए हैं, तो लोगों को अपनी फिजियोथेरेपी भी नहीं मिल रही है। ये सबसे बेसिक चीज थी। उसके अलावा जितनी भी चीजों की जरूरत पड़ती है वो तो मिल ही नहीं रहा है। साइको सोशल सपोर्ट की जरूरत है। अभी जिस तरह का नरसंहार चल रहा है उसमें जो मेंटल हेल्थ लोगों की इतनी खराब हो रही है, उसके लिए उनको जो सपोर्ट चाहिए, वो सब सुविधाएं बिल्कुल भी मुहैया नहीं हो पा रही हैं वहां पे। और इस सब का जिम्मेदार है इसराइल, और उसने जो पूरी तरह से एक जेनोसाइड शुरू कर रखी है वो। और उन्होंने फिर आखिर में यही बोला कि जो भी एक राइट टू लाइफ विद डिग्निटी होता है, सम्मान से जीने का हक, वो अभी फिलिस्तीनियों का पूरी तरह से छीन लिया गया है। अपने अगर आपके को किसी भी तरह की फिजिकल या मेंटल डिसेबिलिटी है और आप उसका इलाज चाह रहे हैं, वो तो अभी कोई सोच ही नहीं रहा है, क्योंकि सिर्फ किस तरह से हम जिए वहां पे बात आके खड़ी हो गई, सर्वाइवल पे बात आके खड़ी हो गई है। तो उसके आगे का जो होती है एक अच्छी जिंदगी, उसके बारे में तो सोचने का भी मौका नहीं मिल रहा है। सुविधाओं की तो बात ही भूल जाएं। तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। सबको सम्मान से जीने का हक है और फिलिस्तीनियों को भी वो मिलना चाहिए। धन्यवाद।